Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Hey Ben,
Hey, how's it going?
good. How are you doing, man?
Doing well, doing well.
Thanks for doing this, man. This is awesome.
Of course, looking forward to it. Looking forward to it.
Cool. I'm gonna plug in, so you'll be wired for the room here in a minute. I'm just gonna quiet the kids down real quick, and then
Beautiful. Sounds
awesome.
good.
All right, sound check here.
Testing, testing. Beautiful. Ready to go?
Yep.
Alrighty. I'm going to jump right in. I know in our first session, I said I was going to be quick and efficient. Today, even more so, because I've got a bit of a guest to jump on in likely 10 minutes. So I need the group to be dialed in for 10 minutes. I'm going to speed through the exercises I have for the group. I see that a lot of you have pen and paper in front of you. I probably won't have as much time to give you pause to reflect on these exercises. But again, all I'm doing is taking the stuff that I work on, whether it's Olympic athletes, NHL athletes, my youth athletes that I work with. All I'm doing is taking ideas that come up in session often and giving them to you to apply to your life, your routine, your approach to sport, your relationship with sport. All right. So I'm going to rip through that. I'm going to throw my slides up and we're going to jump right in. Again, I need the group dialed today for 10 minutes, and then we will bring on someone that I think you might want to hear from. So, ridiculous image in front of you. Yes, a lemon. Okay, what we're going to talk about is cognitive fusion and cognitive diffusion. I like that I already see people pen to paper. That's awesome. So, very quick. Cognitive fusion means when we think about something, it fuses to our experiences, meaning it fuses to our emotions. We get certain emotions that rise up just from a certain thought. So I showed this image because I want to put this into practice. We're going to do 20 seconds. Just sit with me. Okay. I want you to close your eyes, right? This isn't mindfulness. It's nothing like that. You close your eyes. You think about having that half lemon in your hand, juicy, dripping, right? The juice is dripping off. You tilt your head back and you squeeze that lemon into your mouth. And just imagine what that would be like. Now, I'm sure there were I know we're speeding through this, right? But I'm sure there were little sensations of, wow, what that would, would kind of sting my tongue. My cheeks would kind of tingle a little bit. There are sensations that come along with thoughts. But here's the kicker. No one in this room had a lemon in their hand. However, the thought about that brought with it sensations. That's our cognitive abilities or cognitive processing confusing to our experiences and our sensations. Now, let's put this into a sporting context. You're playing in front of 20,000 people. You're playing in front of friends and family. You're playing in front of scouts from the OHL, the NHL, etc. Now we're going to have thoughts, often negative thoughts, because we're human. What is aligned with those negative thoughts? I played poorly last week. I can't mess up in front of these scouts, etc., etc. Reality. Those are real thoughts. They're normal human thoughts. Now there's an awareness piece that comes with it. The ability to say, wait a second, those are just thoughts. And if you want to write one line down on what this concept is all about, it's simply reminding yourself, I am having the thought that I'm not going to play well today. I'm having the thought that I played poorly 2 games ago. And reminding yourself, it's just a thought. Reminding yourself that it's not reality. To what we now call cognitive diffusion. Now, that's a skill. That is 100% a skill, because if you look at this image right now, there are people, there are athletes just like you that can step out into that field and know I've got 65,000 people watching me. There's a chance that I'm going to make a mistake. Cool. I'm having the thought that I'm going to make a mistake. I feel the emotions associated with it, but I'm reminding myself it's just a thought. It's not baked into reality. That's a big skill. I'm going to leave you with that one. Now, for the sake of time, on to the next one. By the way, I love seeing the heads down taking notes. That is so awesome. Next one, another takeaway for you. Sometimes worries are out of habit. I'm going to say that again. Sometimes the worries we have about how we're going to play, what someone's going to think about us, uncertainty just entering a certain room, say in a classroom on test day, maybe in science class, maybe in math class, maybe in English class. There's certain things that we almost automatically worry about. But here's what's interesting, and I would love to go deeper, but for the sake of time, we can't. In simple terms, often our emotions come first. Our emotions come first, and then we try and rationalize and make sense of what those emotions mean. So on game day, we feel a little bit of uncertainty. The majority of us would assume, wow, I must be nervous. Wow, I must be scared. Wow, I must be worried about X. That is our brain doing its best job of making sense of the emotions we feel. So often emotions come first. Now, here's another pause. Here's another reflection for you to have. I show up to the rink, I'm already nervous. I show up on test day, I'm already nervous, uncertain, etc. A little pause to remind yourself, you know what? Maybe there actually is no reason to be that nervous. That's my body stuck in a habit of worry. So there's no other plug in here. There's no other application. There's nothing else you need to do than the simple reminder that, wait a second, I studied for this. Wait a second, I practiced well all week. Wait a second, I've been treating that person really well. I shouldn't have to worry about that relationship. Maybe I'm just stuck in this pattern of worry. And I can remind myself of that so that I can continue to move forward, even though I may feel uncertain. I may feel a little anxious, may feel a little scared. Okay, this is likely out of habit because I'm pretty much ready to go here, right? Another plug for you. What am I worrying about out of habit? All right, next topic. Again, appreciate how dialed in this group is today. Next one. This is a little more of your relationship with sport, your relationship with yourself, and your relationship with the people around you right now, because I know I'm talking to a high-performing athletic group right now. What happens as we climb up the ranks of anything, but we'll keep it in the context of sport, more people want to give you advice. You've got your coach telling you what to do, your agent telling you what to do, your parents telling you what to do, your skill coach telling you what to do, the neighbor down the street that played junior hockey 10 years ago telling you what to do. Everywhere, YouTube, you're getting all this, here's how you have to play, here's how you have to approach sport. You've got to grind, you've got to love it, you've got all these messages, you got to play harder, you got to fight, you got to do all this crap. And so easily as athletes, because we're so externally regulated, we want to appease our coach. We want to appease the scouts. We want to appease the external, everyone around us. It is so easy to get sucked into that. And then what happens? Are we forgetting why we played the game? Maybe. Are we playing the game in a different way than how we would like to play? Are we interacting with this sport differently than the way that we fell in love with it? And I know it's not a perfect world that we can go back to being 6 years old, having fun, turning pucks over, making mistakes, right? As we climb up the ranks, it's not that easy to do so. But here's another reflection for you to sit with. Where can I take back a little bit of agency here? Where can I take back a little bit of that relationship, that approach to sport that actually makes me feel good, that fires me up, that excites me to come to the rink, come to the field, and do my thing? Am I catering too much to the needs, the wants, the desires, or the advice of other people that's actually sucking the enjoyment out of my ability to perform in sport? And I would take it one step further, enjoy the experience of sport. Because we talked about this in our first session. When we are enjoying that experience more, we are much more likely to get into that headspace that is free and will lead to performance. So whose needs am I catering to? Do I need to take a step back and check that? Okay, last point for the sake of time. I'm gonna pump your tires again. Love how dialed in this room is right now. This is awesome. Okay, next one. What little details are we spending too much time with? I'm gonna say that again. What little details are we spending too much time with? We talked about a similar topic in the first session. Our perception, or what we're paying attention to, often shapes our reality. If we continue to pay attention to the mistake from 3 weeks ago, that is likely shaping our reality, and further likely shaping our sense of self, how competent, how capable we are. So here's a little reflection for you. What little details am I spending too much time with? And I show this image here, this image specifically, because what is this image showing? We're focused, hyper-focused on the little details. And what are we missing? We are missing the big picture. And when you are playing high-performance sport of any kind, can we afford to get lost in the details? No. Sport is too fast. We need to be free. We need to be able to adapt. We need to be able to respond because there are too many variables outside of our control. So what little details are distracting me from the big picture? What little details are distracting me from the big picture? And again, not much action needed. Not much action needed here. It's just bringing the awareness to that. What may be distracting me from the task at hand, the objective, the mission, why I play this game, what I need to do to be successful, and to simply take a step back, become aware of those details. We can talk in our next session about how we're able to let those go, how we shift our attention back to the mission, the objective. Now, I am going to stop sharing because we have someone jumping in on the call here, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's see here. All righty. Here we go. Dave, what's going on?
What's going on? Hey, guys.
I appreciate you. Oh, there we go. I appreciate you jumping in. I'm going to actually, from here on out, I'm going to turn my mic off, and I'm going to let you guys interact with this guy here. I hope there are some questions, right? I know Gabe's an open book here. I'm happy to share some insights for you. So I'm going to take a step back, and I don't know who wants to run it on that end there, but if anyone has any questions, I encourage you to ask away.
Yeah, fire away, guys.
Come on, Charlie's got one.
Yeah, come on.
Hello, I'm Charlie. My question is, how do you stay motivated through all the injuries that you have?
What's up, Charlie? Thanks for your question. How do I stay motivated? I mean, to be completely candid and honest, like the motivation's never been an issue, right? Like for me, I consider myself lucky. I don't have to work. I get to work. And there's a big difference. You know, I leave my kids in the morning and I tell them I get to go to work today, and I think that's a privilege. And for somebody like me, I get to work with my biggest passion in life, and that's to play hockey. And so I'm very lucky that way. So motivation itself has never been the issue. I think what's hard is managing the ups and the downs. And when you've been injured and recovering from a big surgery, it's such a long journey that managing the ups and downs have been the challenge for me. It's one step forward and two steps back sometimes. So in hockey, we always talk about staying even keeled, meaning that, when things are going well for you and for your team, you never get too up, you never get too excited. You sort of enjoy it in the moment, you move on, and you're on to the next one. And the same thing when things aren't going your way, you don't get all down on yourself. You don't start doubting yourself or your team. You sort of learn what you can and you move on. But with this injury process, it's been a little bit different, just because I got big stakes on the line here, and I'm trying to make sure I can come back not only to live a healthy life for my kids and my family, but also to play the game that I love. I feel like I'm still in my prime physically and mentally, and coming off a Stanley Cup was the last shift that I played was a final minute in the Stanley Cup Game 6. So that just makes you that much hungrier. So motivation is not an issue. Every time I go to bed, I think about stepping back onto that ice with a full pack ball arena, and that motivates me plenty every single night.
Hi, my name is Archer, and my question is that you were one of the youngest captains in NHL history, and I'm just curious how you dealt with that pressure.
Thanks, Archer. Yeah, I mean, I was pretty open and honest right from the get-go. I said it both in the media, but also to myself. I was not going to try to be somebody that I'm not. I wasn't going to try to replace Joe Sakic. I wasn't going to try to be Henrik Zetterberg or Nicholas Lidstrom or Matt Sundin, these Swedish captains that I grew up really idolizing, because I think as soon as you try to be something you're not, people will just see right through that. But I also think it's important to learn from people, right? So that's a fine balance of, you can sort of fall back and say, oh, I'm just being myself. And then you're a dick to everybody you meet if that's who you are. But I think it's important to learn from other people, right? And still keep an open mind. And even though I've been a captain now for 10 plus years, I'm still reading, trying to learn, watching interviews of other people and how they, break down games or seasons, or how they talk to their team, things like that. I think there's just so much knowledge out there, and you don't have to make the mistakes yourself or go through it yourself to learn. I think and that's why I've always been a big believer in reading books, because in 250 pages, you can learn somebody's most valuable life lessons. So for me, back to where we started with your question, Archer, is just, I was honest from the get-go that I wasn't going to be perfect. I was going to continue to learn and just kind of grow into that role. And now 10 years later, I feel a lot more comfortable in it. And it's something I've grown into, that responsibility. And I think so, just with experience that comes with it. Right. And, you get more comfortable knowing how to deal with certain situations, or personalities for that matter, because ultimately that's what we're doing, right? We're dealing with teammates and coaches and fans and all types of situations. So it's really, we're in the performance business of entertaining fans, obviously, and winning hockey games, but we're also in the people business and dealing with 25 different people in that locker room. And I think that's been the most fun aspect of being a captain.
Hi, my name is Connor, and how did you battle adversity when things didn't go as planned?
Hey, Connor. Yeah, I mean, that's still something that I'm dealing with to this day, right? Back to my injury, it's like, you set timelines, or you set a goal of, okay, whatever it might be, February 1st, I want to start skating with the team, or, I want to be able to do this at this time. But I think it's just kind of managing expectations. And I think it's important you sort of have check-in moments with yourself where you sort of check in with yourself to see where am I at realistically towards my long-term goal, but also my short-term goal. And then just be honest with yourself. And for me, dealing with adversity, when I'm healthy and when I'm playing, I think I'm pretty honest with myself about, like, hey, listen, I haven't been playing good for the last 10 games. I need to do X, Y, and Z better. I need to go back to my basics and my 3 to 5 things that I need to do to be successful. Now, for me, being a power forward, skating, being physical, moving my feet, moving the puck when I can, taking the pucks to the net, shooting the puck, things like that, getting in front of the net. And whenever I go through a dry spell of not maybe producing, I just go to the net. And that's because that's my game, right? And if you're a playmaker, then you want to demand the puck. And when our playmakers, say if Mikko's not playing his best or when he's not producing, we talk to him, and he talks to himself in a way where he's at his best when he's demanding the puck, because that's what his game requires. Me as a power forward, my game is to get to the net and find rebounds and find loose pucks in the corners and forecheck, right? That's my game. So I think whenever you're facing adversity individually, you go back to, okay, who am I as a player? What do I need to do to be successful, right? And I think just the same theme as your coach would do when you guys aren't performing as a team. You go through sort of your identity and what's your process as a team. Who are we? Are we a fast team? Are we a physical team? Are we our special teams not performing? Whatever it might be, right? You kind of check the boxes that way and get back to basics, and then once you sort of pull back that rubber band, then you can expect excel forward and move forward.
Hi, my name's Carson. I was wondering how you separated time of working out and doing hockey with your family, how you separated those.
I appreciate that question, man. Again, I don't want to sit here and pretend like I got it all figured out, because I don't. Certain days I'm all over the place. Other days, things are just kind of flowing through and you feel like you got everything figured out. But I try to balance it. Honestly, as a professional, you're so used to having your schedule set for you. Okay. From training camp in September all the way through the last game of the season, you have your schedule. You know what the game schedule is. You know what the practice schedule is going to be after that. And you know what time to show up at the rink. You know what times the meetings are. So you know what to do and how to structure your day. The biggest challenge for me has been I've had to structure my own days. I've been away from the team quite a bit and have been sort of taking ownership of my journey myself. And therefore, I've had to schedule my days more of kind of like you would do in school. I would set up my calendar on my phone. Okay, at 9 to 10:30, I'm in the gym. Between 10:45 and 11:30, I'm getting treatment. I go eat lunch after that. I go to the pool after that, and so forth, right? And I'm a visual guy, so I need to see it. I need to see it to be able to sort of know what's going on. I can't just sort of keep a list in my head. So, and the same thing with family time. I've sometimes had to block off family time where, okay, between 4 and 8, I put my phone away, and it says daddy daycare, and that's just sort of my cue to leaning into my kids. And I've been very fortunate now to gotten to spend a lot of time with my kids and my wife as well. And some days I think she really wants me out of the house, and so do I. But I think that's sort of a blessing in disguise, where normally we wouldn't get that time. And this is a time in my kids' life. They're 4, and this guy's about to turn 3 here in a month or two. This is time with them that I won't ever get back, and that I would have missed a lot of things if I was on the road traveling and whatnot. So I want to make sure I make the most of it. And a day like today, for example, I'm not skating, but the little guy gets to come to work with me, which I really enjoy. And that's sort of one of the perks of doing what I do is I can bring him in and he'll have his stick in hand. And while I'm working out, he'll be buzzing around doing other things. So very fortunate to do that. Good question.
Hi, I'm Dylan. After a bad shift, what do you tell yourself to get you prepared for the next one?
Hey, Dylan, good question as well. I learned pretty early on to separate my performance to the person that I am. So early on, when you're young, I would come back to the bench and just berate myself and say, I'm a bad hockey player. Why am I doing this? Why? And so forth. And I think separating, I had a coach once tell me, I was about 15 or 16 years old. He told me, there's nothing wrong with you. There's something wrong with what you're doing. And I think that's resonated with me, that if I have a bad shift, a bad turnover, a bad game, okay, there's nothing wrong with me as a player. There's something wrong with what I'm doing on the ice. So I have to change what I'm doing, not change who I am, right? And so I try to tell myself that is, hey, listen, that was a bad turnover. I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to change it and actually get down pretty specific. If you have a turnover or you miss an assignment, you miss your week's ID sneaking down the back post, whatever, there's something in your in that moment that you did that you can improve on, right? And if that's a turnover, then hey, maybe I'll attack the middle more so I don't get squeezed against the boards where the D can just sort of strike on me at the blue line. Or if it's in D zone, hey buddy, sorry guys. If it's in D zone, hey, maybe I wasn't checking my shoulder, right? And get specific with your shift, what within your shift you can improve on. So it's not just like, oh, that was a terrible shift. Okay, how are you going to improve on a terrible shift? Get specific with it and then learn from that.
Hi, I'm Trevor. What do you do before a game to get into the right mindset?
Hey man, I keep it I'm a pretty relaxed guy, even on game days. But once our routines would be, we have morning skate at 10:30. If it's a 7 o'clock game, you skate for half an hour, you eat lunch after that, you lay down for a bit and you nap, right? And some guys nap long, some guys don't nap at all. And some guys just, for me, it's like 30, 35 minutes, just close my eyes for a bit. And then it's sort of, once I wake up from that nap, that's when my sort of routine starts. And, I take a cold shower because that's the way I like it. And wakes me up, because sometimes, you wake up from naps and you don't feel good at all. And the last thing you want to do is get out of that shower if it's nice and hot. But I crank it cold, sort of wakes me up, get dressed, have a little snack, go to the game. And then once you're at the game, at the rink, you have these cues that sort of get you in the right mindset. You get your sticks, you tape up your sticks, you make sure your equipment's good. You whatever you listen to music in the locker room. We've always been a team that whoever's DJing is DJing. We don't like seeing a lot of headphones and things like that in the room, because we like to be able to talk to each other. And sometimes the DJ takes heat because the music isn't good, but that's on him. You can request whatever songs you want. But for us, we like to keep it an airy room with communication lines open and be able to talk to one another and whatnot. And then, you warm up. I've always had a pretty intense warm up off the ice, just because I find once my legs are really going and once I have broken that first sweat, then I'm ready to go. If I don't warm up good, then my legs are cement by the time the first period rolls around. So just sort of those little cues. Obviously, I think we all have our routines and superstitions of getting dressed a certain way or tying whatever skate first and whatnot. And I think that's important, because if when you do the same thing over and over again, it does prepare your mind and your body for whatever's coming next. And it might not happen now, it might not happen next year, but eventually you guys keep doing what you're doing and you find a routine that you really enjoy. You will sort of prime yourself for what's coming, which is ultimately the game, right? So just, I think my one thing there is just find a routine that you really enjoy. Find parts of it. For me, like that's a cup of coffee and at whatever certain time, because I really enjoy that. Sort of gets me in feeling the right way, and I think that's important.
Maybe one more question, if there is one.
Yeah, let's do it.
Colby, let's go.
Back row. That's a long walk. Hurry up, bud.
My name's Colby. My question is, how do you reset if you have a bad warm up or something goes wrong in your routine? How do you get back into the mindset?
Hey, Colby. Yeah, and I mean, I think it's a really good point, and it's a good question to ask right after the last one, because as much as it's important to have a routine, the routine isn't gonna affect your performance. Like I'm talking like if you're taping your stick a minute later than you normally do, or right, like or if a song comes on that you don't necessarily like, you have to be mentally strong to say, I know, hey, listen, I'm not gonna let that bother my performance or my preparation, right? But it happens, and listen, there's been traffic jams, there's been stuff, and now that I'm a dad, like I'm not necessarily always in charge of what's going on game days. There's certain things that I'm running errands or whatever it might be, right? But it's sort of that no excuses mindset, and just make sure that you maybe shorten up your routine, have a few things that are flexible in there. But I think ultimately you tell yourself, hey, listen, I ain't going to let this bother me today. My stick broke in warm up and that was my favorite stick. That's not going to stop me today. Have that positive talk. That sort of comes with, developing that mentally strong kind of mindset. No excuses mindset is, and that's where consistency comes in. When you eliminate those excuses and you're just going out there to give it your all and be your best version of yourself, really, on a daily basis, then that consistency is going to start showing up in your performance too.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you pop it in, Gabe. And it was a perfect summary, perfect way to conclude, I should say, our presentation earlier. And I think as Gabe said, he does. I've heard a lot of people say this, appear on the surface as the perfect leader, perfect guy, and as he said, not to knock him down at all, is that he's just, he's like the rest of this room. He's an everyday guy that is, however, an everyday guy that has put in work and put in the time and is reading and is educating and is prioritized on that last point there. There's no excuses, high performance mindset that goes beyond hockey. And I know we touched on that in our first presentation. What you're hearing from Gabe spans so beyond hockey, into his family life, into his social life, his communication skills beyond just hockey. And I know we didn't hammer that home too much today. And as you all know, it's about being that high performer in all parts of your life, so that when we step on the ice, we don't feel like we're on a tightrope and that we have to have success in hockey and play perfect games every single night. It's an incredible tool to just add hockey to that part of or add hockey as a piece to your life, not the whole thing. And Gabe does an incredible job of that as well. So we can conclude there. I want to thank everyone again for an awesome session today earlier on. The group was very dialed in. Gabe, thanks for joining us. And
see you guys. Best of luck. Thanks, brother. Thanks for having me on.
Of course.
Okay. We're gonna get going right away. Hold on. We're gonna get going right away here for time's sake. We're going our 4-group schedule here. If you don't know what that is, make sure you come up here and take a look. Okay, here are our 4 groups. So group 1, you are going to be heading to the ice right now. Remy, Nico, Rafiki, Waters, Joey Salmons, Kieran, Enzo, Trevor, Greg Gordon, Rick Fisher, Daniel, Dylan Humphrey. You guys are going to the ice right now. You can go. Group 2, you guys are heading to the gym right now. Dylan Van Stronson, Simon, Matt, Brady Backerich, Austin, Wise, Vaughn, McGinty, Mitchell, Barry, George, Jackson Dyer, Parker Bozich, Nat, Aurora, Rose. Goalies in group 1. Goalies, you guys are going to the ice right now. Stop talking, please. Stop talking, please. The goalie's going to the ice right now. Colby, Max Stahl. The goalie's going to the gym right now. Marcelo, Nick Kaufman, Cody Gardner. If I do not call your name, you are in group 3 and 4, and you guys are in here doing academics. Boys, come here really quick. Let's go, Paulson. I'll call the group up, guys. You guys get this. Get out of here.
What should I order?
Hey guys, 16, let's go. Hurry up. Find spots. We will probably start the next part of my exposure. My Hawaiian computer. Any players in here or Please be quiet. They know it's not stress that Oh, everyone should have notes out or paper out, taking your own notes. Got your notes right here?
What is it?
Whatever that's.
What I'm saying is. Just like. It happens all the time.
Something like after lunch?
I don't understand why these things.
Yeah. Hey guys, you can find out what group you're in at 10:20. What time? 10:20.
Earlier, how you doing, buddy?
Good.
You guys go out of town last weekend?
No, we're good this week.
Oh, yeah. Where are you going? What's wrong? Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey,